Okay, welcome back. This is going to be episode 3 of how to get low-income housing. And let me reiterate to everybody that you do not need to be homeless. You can be low income. You can be imminent, which means you're within 14 days of being thrown out. If you're not, you don't own your own home. If there's no conceivable way to find out that you're on a lease, if you're staying on a couch, whatever it may be, you're self-reporting. You can tell these people whatever you want to. As long as there isn't evidence to the contrary, then it is whatever it is you say it is, okay? So, moving on from that, as you can see here, this is a continuum of care. It is a coordinated access system. The main manual comes from the federal government. They issue it to every state. It is modified by each city to meet the goals of whatever's going on in that city. So they make their own rules. We're reading from this one, and if you need one for your own city, I'm happy to do that. Like New York, I told you, it's got about 200 pages. Texas is around 30, 40, okay? But the core of everything in here, including the test and the questions that are critical to what you need to do in order to rank high on your waiting list and your score, is what's in this manual, what's in every manual, okay? So you're not wasting your time by watching what I'm telling you. Okay, let's move on. I think we were on page 5. We had just discussed chronically homeless. And so we were doing categories. So we stopped at literal homeless, which is category 1, which gives you good ranking position. It's about 50% of all your points. Imminent risk, which is category 2, as you can see over here. And that is, it's category 2. It ranks really well. Now, what we should be discussing right now is if you are age 24 or younger, okay, you're category 3. It means you are ranking a little bit lower than everybody else because of that. The government and the city believes that there's still plenty of things that you can do in life to help yourself, but don't let that get you down because, again, how you answer the questions will help you. However, your age might hurt you a little bit being too young. And also, there's also a lot of different programs out there that already favor people that are 24 or younger, okay? Fleeing domestic violence is put at number 4, and that's really surprising to me considering that is considered low in the category level. But I would not make domestic violence the focus of what you're going to be talking with your caseworker with because it doesn't support you as well as some of the other categories. I'm not telling you you should seek help absolutely and get it. Just don't make it the absolute focus of how you're going to engineer your questions for everything they're asking, okay? Let's talk about income here. This is mostly the South. So if you live in anywhere from Arizona to Florida, people down here, we don't make as much as you guys up there in California and New York and in Washington, okay? So whenever you ask me for help and need a manual, you'll see your own income levels for your own areas. So, out here, one person, and, surprisingly, 42,000 and you still can get into low income housing, okay? 42 grand. In New York, I think it's anywhere from 90 to 125,000. Can you imagine somebody making 100 grand and then sitting in public housing? It just goes to show you just how screwed up things can be sometimes. But I don't want to beat that up too much because I realize that you have to have a lot of money to live in New York. So, okay, housing prioritization tool. It says a lot of things. Well, let's just break it down. Your homeless history. I think we went over that in episode 2. You need 12 consecutive months of being homeless, or you need to prove that on 4 separate occasions that you were at Sally's house, you were homeless before, you were there for a week and homeless 4 months, you were there for a week, homeless for 4 more months. So you need 4 episodes of 4 months, or however you want to divide up that 12 months, okay? And then that gives you 50% of your points, okay? Your history and involvement with hospitals and jails. Look, they count up to 4 episodes in hospitals within 6 months. So if you're in there and you've got got a problem with your toenail, you're in the ER, that counts as 1 point. You were at the hospital. You went back because you got halitosis or bad breath. I mean, that counts as another point. As long as you've been to the hospital, they can verify it, or you kept held on to a bracelet or piece of paperwork 4 different times, you can earn a maximum of 4 points. Jails, and this is another one that kind of surprised me. Besides the fact that they consider you homeless up to 90 days. So if, say the judge, you went and stole over to the dollar store, They throw you in there. They gave you 90 days exactly. As long as you don't go over 90 days, that counts as part of you being homeless. If you get 91 days, they consider you housed. Let's just be honest. You know, you're sitting in prison, not in the jail, but if you're doing over 90 days, you might as well just be a prisoner. You know, in other words, you're living there. So, but anyways, what they allow for is for you to be booked in that jail 4 different times for a maximum of 4 points. Please don't run down to the dollar store and start stealing things every day to get your 4 points. Just don't do that. Okay, that's just ridiculous. There's easier ways to do this. Next, your criminal background history. Look, they do look at that, okay? And it does help you, but it doesn't help you if you're going to start talking about smoking crack, smoking meth, and shooting up heroin, okay? I would reserve, I understand people have problems, you want to get them solved, but it's not the time to solve them there. Solve them after you're in the program and you can talk to counselors. For now, stick with things that are legal drugs that you abuse. Maybe pain pills, stuff like that we talked about. But it does look at the fact that you have a criminal history and you can earn a mild amount, a few points for that. But, you know, like I said, don't race out there to hold up a bank over it. Mental health history. And so that is going to help you a lot, period. As long as you haven't done over 91 days in the hospital, all 90 days are counted as you being homeless, even though you're sitting in there. Number two, having a record of mental illness is an automatic entry into having a permanent disability. As long as you're going to be a mental head case for at least 12 months and they can't solve it in 12 months, then that's going to work out for you real well. Physical problems. Look, that plays a big part in this too, and you get a considerable amount of points for that too. As I explained in, I think, episode 1, that you got back problems, you got asthma, you got hepatitis, any kind of health problem that the doctor is not going to be able to definitively fix within 12 months is considered a continuous problem, okay? And, you know, any kind of physical problem you can dream up pretty much that lasts over 12 months will work, okay? Now let's talk about the homeless management information system. And the reason I'm not going into a lot and I'm skipping and talking quickly is because these things actually go in far more detail the farther we get into this. I think we have 4 more episodes for completion, okay? Now, the homeless management information system is basically what it is, it's just a database for homeless people, okay? It keeps track of your activities. It also keeps track of people that do the wrong thing. For instance, drug dealers that like to get into the system, to get public housing, to get an apartment, to sell all their, crack cocaine out of that apartment. So you guys are the target, really, their target is to watch what you're doing. That way they can keep you out from ever doing it. And then they'll share that information with all 50 states. That way, when you abuse the system, you're completely fucked across the U.S., okay? And to be frank with you, my heart goes out to people that have a drug problem or drinking problem. My heart does not go out to drug dealers because that is the most bullshit thing that you can possibly do to wreck your life. And once you do that, they'll also block you from food stamps. So if you ever are a drug dealer in charge as a drug dealer, then I can tell you that, you're ruined for life. Nobody's going to let you into any system. I mean, you're really going to be that person over the bridge with no options, almost no options, okay? Being charged with a drug crime because you're a drug addict's a different story. Like I said, I do feel sorry for some of you guys. All right, let's move on. So there's a lot of different jargon here specifically about this, but it is a database. It's looking at your food stamps. It's looking at how you're going to food banks and how you're applying and how long you've been in the system. The more information they're able to collect, the better. This is why I tell you guys, getting these manuals gives you're the 1% that has a chance. You found a video where you've got a fellow that's got all these manuals, so you're going in, you know everything. 99.98% of everybody else goes and don't know anything. So they open their mouth and they say all the wrong things, and it's part of that permanent record, and they can't change it for years because of that. So you should really count yourself fortunate that you even have an opportunity to see a manual, much less the one that they use to train their employees. So, that in itself should make you excited and give you a little bit of hope, okay? Let's move on. Staffing rules and expectations. Look, I don't care what this thing says. A lot of people that you're going to deal with, whether it's a COC or the HUD, underpaid, overworked, don't care, have an attitude. You have people that are racist, biased, and bigots. That's just a part of us being humans on earth. You're always going to have people with problems. The only thing you can do to help yourself is to present yourself in the best light. If you believe a person's a racist, a bigot, or whatever it may be, just kindly tell them, I would like to terminate the application, come back another day and get somebody that's just a better person, a better human being, okay? I don't know why evil people often find their way into systems that are supposed to be designed to help people. I don't know why that happens, but it does. And when you run across somebody like that, I'll tell you in another video how to wreck them and get them out of their role, out of their position at HUD. I will show you how to get them, fired. Okay. But for now, this is not what this video is about. Okay. So, anyways, they're supposed to be in their best behavior, and that doesn't have anything to do with you. So we're going to skip through that. And you're always welcome to read it if you just want to see how they're supposed to act. And so we're going to talk about, now here's a couple terms you're not ever going to be, probably never heard of. They're called access hubs, okay? So, when they give out funds to HUD, HUD handles normal people, and then they have hubs, okay? Hubs are places like COC, Continuum of Care, okay? Continuum of Care could be a few employees in a homeless shelter that are operating under the government budget, okay, to deal specifically with homeless or low income, okay? So agency selected to serve as an assessment hub site. So it's just a site out of HUD itself. And as I've been telling you all along, these assessment hubs exist. They just don't tell you guys that, okay? Everybody thinks you have to go to the HUD office. So I've been teaching you how to find these things that, for whatever reason, they like to keep a secret, okay? And so, anyways, they're there to ensure that all households that are experiencing homelessness or at risk of being homeless have a proper access to intake and assessment, and those assessments are administered in a safe and welcoming environment. I would question that, really. Maybe the environment's safe, but sometimes the people that were applying, the next guy over applying, is definitely not going to be the picture of health that you have to deal with. Housing assessors, these are the people that are going to be asking all the questions, okay? And so, yeah, you always be polite when it comes to that. And then you have housing navigators. So with HUD, hey, you know what? You've earned a voucher. You're on a list. Good luck. Best wishes. With a COC, they have housing navigators. These people, that's their specific jobs. They go out there and find the houses. Isn't it a lot better that you're not trying to take a bus around town or your car and hoping you find a place? Well, with the COC, their navigators go out there and bring you everywhere. They go and find the place, then negotiate the deposit, helping you get in the furniture and all that stuff in there. So what would you like? The good luck and a kick out the door at HUD, or would you like to go to COC and then deal with the people that are actually out there to do it for you? And then they have the receiving program, which is all rapid rehousing, RRH, and then the other one I was talking about, permanent supportive housing. So let's go over that again. Rapid rehousing is housing first, which means these are the guys that are trying to. I told you within 24 to 48 hours, they need to declare exactly what they're going to be doing with you, how you scored, and then within a week, they need to have your plan together and ready to go. And within 30, 60 days, they need to have you rapidly in in a house, apartment, a hotel, whatever they have available at that time. And don't be disappointed if you get put up in a hotel for 6 months while they figure out how to proceed from there. Not every program can just slam you into an apartment. Permanent supportive housing. These are for people that score really high. To be frank with you, I could show you all how to score the maximum number of points and go do permanent supportive housing. But remember that those situations are often grouped big buildings. So imagine a big building with a hallway and there's doors down all the way down it, and then you have a counselor sitting up front. It's a little bit more intrusive in your life, but the good news is they pay 100% of your rent, and you don't ever have to reapply. You have that thing for as long as life lasts, until you take your last breath, or you prove that you're more competent. You're all of a sudden you've created some eBay business, and now you don't really need that, and they want to put you out of it. But otherwise, it's good for life and pays all your rent. It's a pretty good situation for people that simply don't understand how to operate in life. Okay. The rapid rehousing is the government's way of trying to help you rapidly get in there. HUD's version of rapid rehousing is they rapidly email you a list once a month and then good luck for the next decade. Okay? They don't even have RRH as far as I know. They just have some ridiculous list. Okay, moving on. And so all this information that we were talking about are put into the HMIS as we talked about before, and that creates and builds a record for you. And let's see where we are with our time. We're at 15 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and close this out. I'm sorry we didn't get further, but we have a whole lot to talk about in these videos, and it's really important you know where we're going with it. And I can assure you that we're getting very close, to getting to those tests and different things that you're probably dying to see. Okay, thank you for joining, and we'll see you for episode 4.